when I had, by that time, gone to school, quit school, and I finished the 9th grade in school, quit school, and moved to Miami, Florida, where my brother was living by this time. He had a family and everything, living there, and I had a sister living there.
15 years old or so?
I was about 15.
Wow.
When I went to Miami.
Wow.
And
knowing that you wanted to play music?
Yeah,
or?
man.
Yeah?
I went there with that in mind.
Wow.
And I used to go to all the clubs. I used to like put on my dark shades, put me on a coat, and pull my collar up, my hat pulled way down, and I would sneak into these clubs because you had to be 21 to go into these clubs.
Right.
You understand? So my brother knew they were playing at a club called the Cafe Society.
Huh.
Cafe Society. And they had a calypso band, you dig? And Calypso Eddie was the name of the.
Okay.
And I wound up later on playing with Calypso Eddie. But by this time, I'm just learning. And I would just want to go in there and sit in the corner in the dark or sit in the dressing room and listen through the dressing room door, you understand, to these cats play. And I listen, I learn.
Mm.
My first introduction to music was calypso music. And my brother made me a drum. I got a picture of that drum home somewhere, still
wow.
right now.
That's beautiful.
And he was a good craftsman as far as making things like drums. And he could fish, my brother fished. He was one of those jack of all trade type cats. Anything you think of, he could put it together. So he made me a drum, and I started practicing on that drum. And one day, I got a call. No. I went to work for a Jewish cat named Artie Steinhardt on Miami Beach. I got a part-time job making $20 a week. And my job was to, help the maids that were cleaning the rooms, clean the rooms up. I had to spray the room because there were a lot of mosquitoes in Florida in those days.
Oh, sure.
And they had this stuff you had to spray the plants and all around the building.
Sure, it was
poison, that was my
right?
job, yeah, man. And I had to do all of that. But Artie Steinhardt also had right across the causeway from his motel a club called the Malayan Lounge, where he would bring in Hawaiian dancers.
Wow.
And they had this dancer named Johnny Pineapple. Johnny Pineapple, hey man, his claim to fame was he'd run out on the dance floor while the girls, the drums are playing, and he would leap out on the stage and leap up in the air with a pineapple and a machete.
What?
And by the time he hit the floor, he done chopped that pineapple up in several pieces. That was his claim to fame, Johnny Pineapple. He had the Kalani dancers who sang and did the hula dance. And when I first went there, they needed a drummer. They didn't have a drummer. So Johnny Pineapple taught me how to play. They had these great big Hawaiian drums, big old bass drum like that, with 2 small drums attached to the side of it, 3 drums. And he taught me how to play the Hawaiian rhythms on that drum for their dance.
Wow.
I learned that, and that's how I held that. That was one of my first gigs. You understand? Because all the time that I was working at the motel, I was learning how to play, and I had bought myself a set of bongos with my first week pay. And the bongos cost me my first week pay, $20.
Oh, damn.
I'll never forget them. Wow. And they were some badly made drums because they had keys on them that if you didn't play it the right way, they would cut your hands, Anyway, I suffered through all of that, but I learned. I was learning, and I played at the Malayan Lounge, and I used to play for the Bahama Mama, a sister named Dorothy Anderson. Huh. Oh boy, was she beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful, chocolate brown, beautiful chick. Hey man, the men used to throw their wallets on the stage when she came out and danced. Her dance was, oh man! And I was her drummer. I used to go from the Hawaiian stuff to the calypso stuff, and the calypso side. You know what I'm saying? And I'd play that for them, for her, and kill her. You dig it? And she used to give me some extra money, you know, because hey man, they would, like I'm not telling you no lie, these guys were throwing their wallets on the stage when they saw her dance. And that was my beginning, man, you know.
Whoa.
So I kept doing little odd jobs here and there, you know what I'm saying, working the hotels. And in those days, Miami Beach was like South Africa. If you was black, or if you was Puerto Rican, you understand, or anything minority, you couldn't live. You could work over there, and you had to have a special health card, and you had to have a health card to prove that you are healthy, because they thought that everybody had a disease except them, the people that was running Miami Beach at the time, and you had to have a health card. And you had to have a police card, and your top salary was $35 to $40 a week. $40 was the top pay.
They capped you there.
That's right.
Wow.
$40 was your top pay, and you had to be really good at what you do to get $40 a week.
Meanwhile, you're bringing hundreds of dollars of revenue into the club. Thousands,
man. Yeah. But then $5 for your police card and $6 for your health card. That came out of your pay. You understand? And that didn't last. That card was only good for about every 6 months. You got to renew it. They were robbing us, man.
Man.
Hey, man, that's what it was like on Miami Beach back in those days. And I did those odd jobs.
But without the performers, I mean, they're not going to get people into those hotels.
That's
and those
right.
bars.
That's right.
Wow.
And I wasn't performing in the hotels. I was working I work as a porter or a server.
Yeah.
You know, I used to work in the kitchen as a dishwasher.
All the same. That's what keeps the hotel running.
That's right.
Yeah.
And those were the kind of jobs that was available to kids like us. You know what I'm saying? So I worked there and I worked there until I bought my bongos. After I bought my bongos, I quit.
Nice.
You understand?
Yeah.
And I'd just stay home and practice. I would go up in the hallway of the apartments with all this echo. And when I play those bars, those echoes come back at me, and I was driving the neighbors crazy.
For sure.
So one day, the neighbors screamed out, they threatened to call the cops on me. I had to stop playing, so when I played now, I got to go lock up in the bedroom in the house and practice my bongos. So I learned to play the bongos, and then after I learned to play the bongos, my brother made me this Congo drum. It's one drum about the size of this one here. It was made out of a pickle barrel, you know what I'm saying? And with a tack on head.
Oh, okay.
And when you wanted to tune it up, you got to get your can of sterno and heat it up, and you turn it upside down, and you heat that skin, it'll get tight, and you get a good sound out of it.
Wow.
That was my first drum. And I played that, and I played that, and I played that. And after about 2 years, I was playing good enough to start visiting a few spots where they jam at. And I knew this Cuban dude, I can't think of his name right now. He was a great piano player, and he played jazz. And he was working in the Mary Elizabeth Lounge. Mary Elizabeth was the other hotel from the Sir John Hotel that I hadn't reached yet.
Right,
so I would go down to the Mary Elizabeth hotels on weekends and jam, and I played one beat. I knew how to play one beat.
Okay.
I played that for about 4 years, man. Just that beat. But everybody loved it. because I didn't get in the way of the trap drummers.
Right.
And trap drummers hated Congo drummers and bongo drummers in those days.
Oh, because they would play over.
Because they would play all this stuff that was not on the beat, and I learned to play off of the trap drummer's sock. That's what gave me an in.
Oh, okay, wow.
When I learned how to do that. At first, I didn't know it. And I used to wonder why these cats hate me or why they hate all the other Congo drummers that was coming out of the jam. And then I realized what it was. They were playing.
Yeah.
All I had to do was get on that.
Hang in that
Get on
pocket,
that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I learned that, and I played that, and my man loved me. Whenever I walked in, he said, "Where's your drums, Black?" You know? And in those days, I wasn't Big Black, and I was called Danny, because my name is Daniel.
Right, right.
And those, they all call me Danny. You know, where's your drum, Danny? You know what I'm saying? And I'd have it sitting out in the hall somewhere, because I never did like to walk in on people's sets. You know what I'm saying? And I was always respectful. And I learned when you're respectful to band leaders, you gets the end. And that's what I did. I did that for about 4 years. I played that beat. They call me one beat Dan. Because that's all I knew how to play. And as time went on, man, I developed. And from listening to the piano.
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying? The piano became sort of like my source of rhythm.
Yeah.
I listened to the left hand and what the right hand was doing, and the way I set my drums up today, my bass drum is on my left hand, and my treble drums, my middle and my treble drum is on the right hand.
Right.
And I play a piano style, and that's why I do it. The finger style came from my brother, who played drums finger style, had a finger style on the drums, which was his concept of playing like the piano players. And that became my total focus over the next 10, 20 to this day.
Yeah.
And and that was it for me, man.
That's wild.
I learned to play. I started playing with Calypso Eddie. Lord Flea came to town, and my brothers, who had been playing with Calypso Eddie, he and his partner, they were both drummers. Slick played, he played these big goombay drums.
Oh, wow.
And my brother Fish played the small side drums he had on the stand. Little drums about maybe 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 and 9 inches. And together they were outrageous, the way these two cats played together. And Fish would get off of the bass, and when they go into like what they call the session, where they start jamming, and he and Slick on the drums, you know. And they would kill them, man. They had the best group, man. People would come. If they opened in a club tonight and nobody showed up, whoever showed up the next night, they were standing in line to see these cats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got a picture of them in my phone. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, no, please.
I'll try to send it to you into your phone.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
So you could see what my school of thought was. Yeah.
So I want to ask you about Miami a little more too.
Miami was my early drumming days. That's where I learned to play. Well, partially, because where I really learned to play was, let me tell you, Miami. By the time I was 19 years old, I was working with Calypso Eddie. We got a gig going to Chicago to play at a club called the Le Cupidon. Le Cupidon Club on Madison, 58th and Madison Avenue in New York. Working for a guy named, a Frenchman named, I forgot his name, but he eventually started managing Maya Angelou.
Oh, wow.
He became Maya Angelou's manager. Maya Angelou at that time.
When she was a singer?
Yeah, she was a calypso singer. She was working at a club called the Trinidad Room.
Huh.
And by that time, I was 17 years old when this happened. I had landed a gig. I was the first black person to teach dancing at an all-white Arthur Murray school in Florida.
Wow.
You know, Arthur Murray was a franchise. And there was a guy named Mr. Harvey that owned a Arthur Murray franchise. And Mr. Harvey hired me.
Wow.
My dancing partner was a girl named Shirley Jackson. And he hired me to come and teach calypso movements to his students.
At an all-white school?
At an all-white school,
Wow.
South Miami.
Wow.
And because I could dance back in the day. I can
Okay.
still dance now. I got all the moves
Oh,
down.
man. All right.
And I went and I taught calypso movements to all of these dancers that he had. So when I got the gig going to New York to play at the La Cupidon, Mr. Harvey gave me the name and phone numbers of the dance educators of New York at that time.
Oh, wow.
Because he was sure that they would want to learn the same thing that I was teaching at his school.
Right, right.
And when I got to New York, he made me a lot of bucks. I made a lot of money.
Oh, wow.
Man, yeah. And I taught the dance educators of New York calypso movements.
Wow.
You dig it?
Oh, man.
And like I said, I made some bucks. I had a nice write-up in Glamour magazine
Okay.
with all these beautiful white models, you know, and I was wearing this colorful calypso shirt,
Yeah.
and they were advertising calypso lipstick.
Okay.
And the colors in my shirt had all the colors of these different color lipsticks
Oh,
in
wow.
it. So they had me to this beautiful black dude, young, and I was only about, how was I? About 20.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And all these beautiful white models around me. If you go back and find a Glamour magazine from 1957, I think it was.
Okay.
I think March 1957 Glamour, you might still see a picture of me in there.
I'm gonna see if I can
If
track
you
that
find
down on the internet.
let me know.
Yeah.
Send me a copy
I
of it.
will.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I went to New York, and I was playing at the La Cupidon, and Calypso Ed and I, and they had another act there, Leo and Scoogie Rice, a man and wife team. They were from Trinidad.
Huh.
And Scoogie was Leo's wife. She was a dancer, and Leo played steel drums.
Oh, cool. Wow.
And,
Wow.
and Leo, and so Leo asked me, would I play drums for his wife to dance?
Uh-huh.
And I said, yeah, man, I'd love it. He was a nice cat. She was a beautiful young chick. And I remember, I'll never forget this night. I played for her, and he taught me the rhythm that he wanted me to play for her.
Uh-huh.
And it was this macumba rhythm, you know, like what they play in Brazil.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's the basis. You know what I'm saying? Take it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, man, I possessed her. She went nuts. Hey, man, she fell out on the stage, frothing out of the mouth. They ran out there with the smelling salt.
Oh my God.
My first possession. Man, let me tell you, no sex I've ever had in life was better than that moment. I'm telling you, man, to possess someone's spirit, to communicate with someone's spirit like that, it's unbelievable. It's hard to explain, man.
Wow.
That was my first possession.
Wow.
I had another one, but I'll tell you about that later on.
Okay.
But and we wound up with I with our pictures in all the big magazines, you know, because they came in, shot pictures of me, the dance educators of New York. You understand? They gave me heavy play, you know.
That's so cool.
And I made some nice bread, and I made more money than Calypso Eddie. Really.
Wow.
Because, you know, they were just playing in the club getting paid. I was doing all these extra gigs
All
and
the
getting paid.
side work, yeah.
And all I was doing was teaching dance movement, simple dance movement. And I got it, I can show you those movements today.
Wow.
They're all there, man. Yeah.
Well, since we're still talking about Calypso, I got to ask about Lord Flea.
Oh, Lord Flea, well, Lord Flea came to Miami at a time when Calypso was at its peak. And he hooked up with a shyster named Bill Saxon, who robbed him.
Oh, man.
I mean, they did films and everything. Bill Saxon took all of their money. They were in Vegas and gambled all their money away. And they were making chump change. They never made any serious money. But they became quite famous. I played with them. I was never a regular.
Okay.
They would just allow me to come and sit in occasionally. And once we went to the Bahamas, and I sat in with them in the Bahamas at this club that a cat that I met while I was down there, a German dude named Don Seiler. And if you go online, you will see a picture that he did of me, the big hands and the drums. He was sort of like one of them Greek type artists, you know what I'm saying? Everything, big feet, big hands. Yeah. Well, I use it as a logo for my music now, online. So if you find that logo, I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
It's online. You can download my stuff and listen to it.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, Don Seiler heard me play, and he never said nothing to me. And then we left, and then time went by. I guess I was about 18. Let me see. I was about 18 years old. Because when I went to New York, I was about 17. I came back about 18. About a year or so went by, and one day I got a call from Don Seiler, and he had just redecorated his club, turned it into a fat boy. He was a great artist, man. Painter. He made all of these tablets, all that ancient stuff, had it along the wall, trimming the walls. It was beautiful, man. Put a lot of time. He took him about almost a year to put this club together the way he wanted it from the time when we had gone there. By that time, I was 20. I was 20 years old, I think I was. And he asked me, did I want to come? Because he was bringing Paul Mears Jr., who was a great dancer. Paul Mears Sr. was a Buckingham Palace dancer who had played Buckingham Palace for the Queen in England. And he had moved back to Nassau and had opened a theater there. And his son, Paul Mears Jr., was a dancer. He, at the time, was working in Sweden, living and playing, dancing in Sweden. And Don brought Paul in to bring a show into his club. And he wanted, all the clubs in Nassau, Bahamas at that time had drummers as the star feature.
Okay.
Solo drummers who could solo.
Yeah, yeah.
And Don brought me in at a time when I was suffering from schizophrenic paranoia, man.
Oh, wow.
I went through that period of my life, man. And he sent me a ticket. And while I was going over there, I met my wife.
Oh, no way.
My wife's sister I had known a couple of years prior. She used to come to Miami. We used to go dancing together at the Elks Club. And when I was going over to Miami, over to Nassau to play in this club, she and her sister, my wife, was in the airport. And she introduced me to her sister, Ginger, my wife, who is just I'm just a year and a half, 2 years older than her.
Wow.
She's at the apartment now.
Wow.
And
so you guys have been together all these years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, not all these years. We split up and then we got back together
Oh,
and
okay.
remarried.
Wow, man. Wow.
Anyway, I went over to Nassau and I was going through this bad thing. I went through it while I was in Chicago. Because prior to that, after I came back from New York, we went to Chicago. We were in Chicago for 2 months in the winter. And when we got back from Chicago, it was November, we went to Nassau for Guy Fawkes night, spent 2 weeks there, came back, and then all this happened within a 2-3 year period. When Don called me and I went over there to play with Paul Mears Jr. And I got some pictures of all of that stuff at home. And I became their solo drummer. And it took me 5 years to conquer all those demons in myself. Oh man, that's another story in itself.
Yeah,
I'll tell it in my biography one day.
There you go, yeah.
But
and that was all down in Miami, Nassau, though?
This is in the Bahamas now. Because it started happening to me while I was in Miami, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, I asked the doctor, I said, how can I get rid of these bad feelings? Because I would wake up in the morning feeling great, and then when I realized there was life going on around me, I get this sick feeling in my stomach, and things begin to peer at me from around the corner and shit. And if I'm walking, I hear footsteps behind me. Man, schizophrenic paranoia is weird.
Yeah, right.
And you can't be in nothing exciting. I stopped going to movies, you know, watching TV.
Because all the stuff would come out at you.
Yeah,
it
would bring on and I'd go off. So he gave me these pills, and he says, whenever you get these attacks, just pop one of these pills in your mouth, and it'll go away like what they give heart patients, that glycerin pill.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But after taking them pills a couple of times, I began to think, if I keep doing this, that means I'll be strung out on these goddamn pills. I'll flush them damn things, man.
Yeah,
Stop taking them.
Yeah.
I said, if I come out of this, I'm going to either come out of it okay or I'm going to die. 5 years later. But I came out of it because this guy, Siler, who owned the club, had gone through a similar thing in his life. And he said to me, he said, listen, man, the club is always open.
Wow.
If you want to play, just come in and play. So my drums were set up in the club, and he gave me a bicycle. He said, ride this bike every day, man. You know, you need that exercise.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the doctor told me, he says, exercise, a good diet, change of scenery. That's when I left Miami.
Okay.
Because Miami had done it to me.
Yeah.
And you know what had happened to me? They had a over-the-counter drug called what was it? It was designed to keep you awake.
Oh, it was
and when
like
I was doing those,
some kind of speed, basically.
Yeah, when I was doing those gigs at the hotel at night, I would take these pills. I used to work from 11.
Man.
I used to work from 11 at night till 5 in the morning.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And
damn.
that's what I believe messed me up.
Sounds like it, right?
So I went to the Bahamas. Don gave me the bike. Every morning I'd get up, jump on that bike, ride to the marketplace, have me some fruit, some bananas and pineapple and stuff like that. Get on the bike, ride 7 miles out, 7 miles back, my 14-mile bike ride. And I did that for the next 5 years, man, every day. And at the end of 5 years, I was normal.
Wow.
Came back, and I was playing like no one has ever heard.
Yeah.
Because going in that
you
club,
unlocked something when you...
Hey, man, that was when I learned how to play, when I was half nuts. How I got the name Big Black, remember I told you when Don Sala had the club at Nassau, Bahamas? And he sent for me when I met my wife. I went over, and I was over there after I'd gotten married. I'd been there for about 5 years. And my brother and his partner came in there one night, and we were doing the same show. and they sat at the bar, and in those days, you know, the favorite drink was Pernod. On the black light, Pernod lights up in the glass.
Oh, okay.
You dig it? Pernod turn, you know?
Yeah,
you drink
yeah.
Like, and you drink that, and
You
it looks
look
like
like
you're
you're
drinking some weird shit.
Right, right.
And it was weird because it made you high, man. You know?
Oh, wow.
You smoke a joint and drinking some Pernod, boy, that was one of the greatest high there was.
Okay.
And that's what everybody was doing. So my brother and his partner, Fish and Slick, they were called. They came into the club, and they were sitting right there at the corner of the bar, because the bar was a circular bar.
Right.
In the center of the club, and then there was a square bandstand, and I was playing here, and they were sitting right there, right? And I did a solo, and Billy Cook was the band leader. He was a trumpet player out of Jamaica that everybody used to relate to him as the Jamaican Dizzy Gillespie.
Oh, okay.
You dig it?
Huh.
And he looks a little like Dizzy, and he played the trumpet, and he was a great trumpet player. Jamaica had all the best musicians then. All of the really great musicians that was playing in the Bahamas, and those Bahamas had the worst musicians. So they would import cats from Jamaica to play in the Bahamas.
Right.
So we had a badass group, man. I remember, what's that cat name that used to arrange for Ella Fitzgerald? Nelson?
Oh, Nelson Riddle?
Nelson Riddle. Nelson Riddle, he loved us, man. He used to come to the Bahamas.
Oh, wow.
Nelson Riddle would sit down there and go crazy listening to us, man. The shit we was playing. And so I did this solo, and when I got through doing this solo, I watched my brother and Fish damn near fall off their stools, drinking that Pernod and listening to me. And afterwards, it was over, we taking a break. I went down, and they grabbed me and hugged me and shook my hand. And my brother looked up at me and says, "You big, black, bad motherfucker, you." and
that's where the name...
From that night on, my name was Big Black.
Wow.
That's right. And outside on the board outside, they never did put Big Black. It was always Danny Ray. Because the Bahamians was kind of weird. If I'd put up Big Black,
that was too much for them.
That would have been too much for them.
Yeah, for sure. They weren't that militant yet.
You're right.
Well, I just got maybe two more I want to ask you, because I know we've already been here for a while.
Hey, man, you can be as long as you like. Man, it's beautiful. I'm enjoying the sun.
Beautiful, man. Did you ever play with Ernest Ranglin?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Ernest Ranglin?
The
that was my
player?
buddy.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Man. Sure. Yeah, man. Ernest, where did I play with Ernest at? Where did I play with?
Because he's Jamaican, right?
I think Ernest played with us at some point during the time I was playing at the John Canoe Club in Nassau. He came down and played with Billy Cook.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, Ernest. Ernest was my buddy.
Oh, wow, man.
Yeah, man. Ernest was a real nice cat, man. He's gone now, too, isn't he?
I don't know if he is.
He might still be around,
I think he's
man.
still around. Yeah, I didn't hear about him passing.
Yeah.
He's probably, what, about your age or so?
No, man, he's older than me.
He's older?
Much.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, Ernest would be at least in his 90s now.
Oh, okay.
High 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
if he's alive, yeah.
But I didn't hear about him passing. I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
He's great, man. He was great. He was a badass player. Oh, I loved him. I loved Ernest Ranglin.
And I mean, the stuff he was doing in the 50s was so
He was the one that started
time.
out Bob Marley and all them cats.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was kind of the secret king of the Jamaican music scene.
That's right. And when Bob Marley died, I was in Paris, France, and we did a big memorial for him. Yeah, man.
And I just have one more thing I want to show you, not for you to sign, but just because I think you get a kick out of seeing it. I know you know who that is, right?
That's Lord Flea.
Yeah.
That's the group. Here's my brother Fish.
On the bass, right?
There he is right there.
Yeah, on the bass.
There's Slick.
Oh, okay, that's Slick.
That's Loggy. Pork chops. Banjo. Barbara T-Bag.
Yeah, he's
man,
pretty sick
where'd you
on
get
that
this record? I'd like to have that. I'd like to get a copy. No, man. No, can you get another one?
I'll get another one and I'll give it to you. I'll send it to you in the mail.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Ooh. I remember that. That's a shot.
Right? Are you sure I can't do this with
This was my buddy, man. Lord Flea, man, he died at age 27.
I know, man.
He was in the hospital, man. He had leukemia.
Yeah.
And his old lady used to sneak drugs into the hospital to him, man. He died. Couldn't give him that blow. He loved that blow. He had he liked big fat ladies. His old lady was like about 250, 300 pounds. Peaches, her name was. She was beautiful. She was just a big, beautiful fat chick, and he loved her. They used to fight all the time, but nothing could come between them.
Wow, man.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Swinging Calypso. That's the first album, man.
Yeah.
That's a badass record here, boy. You heard bebop Calypso?
Yeah.
This bebop music is really terrific. Chop down it out. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, send me a copy of that.